lahat tayo have the opportunity to make ourselves wealthy. Okay? Our only job is to not mess it up. Yun lang talaga. And tayo mismo ang kalaban natin pagdating sa mga gandang sitwasyon. May ibang nagpapalpitate pag dumami yung pera sa bank account. Hindi na alam kung anong gagawin. So, dun tayo nagkakaroon ng challenges. Hey! This is Kuya Jay, and welcome to the latest episode of Pera and Purpose Podcast, a show about money and meaning. My aim is to use money as a tool to live a meaningful life. And yes, welcome dito sa ating special Halloween episode. And I think yung huling Halloween episode ko was a few years back na. No? So I thought na mag-record ng panibagong Halloween episode. And sa araw na ito, hindi tayo mag-uusap tungkol sa mga multo, aswang. Pero mas nakakatakot pa dun. Okay? Ito yung mga money horror stories of people from riches to rags. Grabe, diba? So, mas nakakatakot to kasi ito totoo talaga. Nangyayari talaga to. Kaysa sa mga ghost stories na hanggang ngayon di pa ako nakita ng multo. Sa totoo lang. Okay? So, baka yung sweldo mo parang multo, no? Bigla na lang naglalaho. Pero ito, we will be learning from 5 stories na nakita ko online. These are tragic stories about personal finance. And I hope na may matutunan tayo dito na hindi mangyari sa atin in the future. Oo. Ito yung mga kwento ng mga dating mayaman pero biglang naghirap. Kaya bago natin simulan to, share nyo muna sa inyong KKK o inyong kaibigan, kamag-anak, kapatid, kaaway, kaopisina, kachismisan, lahat ng kayo nyo. I-share nyo to sa kanila kasi if you've been listening to the podcast for quite some time now, nabago nito ang yung mindset around money. And also, some quick announcements. Gumagawa na ako ng ating learning community. Hindi lang ito basta community for the listeners, but also a learning community for everyone. So, nagre-record na ako actually ng mga additional courses for those na kailangan ng ilang mga specific na information about personal finance. So, yung link ilalagay ko dyan sa description ng podcast na to. I hope I can see you there. Okay? Kasi nga, it's something na gusto kong maging mas involved pa in terms of growing our community. And this episode is brought to us by our friends from TapTap Send. More about them later. So, ang first story natin for this episode, parang mga Dear Ate Charo na datingan yung gagawin ko today. So, ito yung isa sa nakita ko sa Reddit. Simulan natin So, sabi, Dear Kuya Jay, ayan. My first cousin's parents work for the military. They're not super rich, but their lives are definitely more comfortable compared to mine. My aunt was a general secretary sa Krame, and my uncle was a second lieutenant in the army. Anyway, back to my story. My cousin's family can be a bit of a show-off. They have all the latest appliances, toys, and even go on out-of-town vacations. If you need a sponsor for an event, they'll give you money with just a snap of their fingers. Then, my aunt was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and had to undergo treatment. After several months of battling the illness, she sadly passed away. Despite this, my cousin's family continued living comfortably, thanks to the pension they received from my aunt. They didn't change their lifestyle at all. If anything, they flaunted it even more, practically swimming in the extra money from the pension. My uncle handled all the finances, but he spent almost every day drinking with friends. He would lend money to anyone who asked, essentially donating it, and bought useless things like 3 live Carabaos, which is quite funny since they live in the city. Apparently, he bought them to donate to the neighborhood for no reason. They wasted money just to show off. My cousins continued their comfortable lives, with one studying in LaSalle, while the other spent nights at high-end clubs with his friends. Grabe. Then, here's the twist. My eldest cousin, there's 3 of them, by the way, was diagnosed with the same stage 4 breast cancer that took my aunt's life. That's when they began to struggle, as they had to admit her to the hospital for ongoing treatments. To cut this long story short, Kuya Jay, my cousin passed away a year after her diagnosis. My uncle fell into depression, which led to his untimely death due to cardiac arrest while he was sleeping. He was drunk for 24/7. And the two remaining cousins went bankrupt because of their debt. They had to sell their house and rent a cheap apartment just to survive. The whole neighborhood ignored them, the same people they had helped when they were on top. I used to help them during those times when they needed financial aid or even just money for food. Fast forward 10 years, and they're finally getting their act together with an online selling business. But the life they're living now is completely different from the one they used to have. This story reminds me of something crucial. Financial management is essential. If you have money and resources now, you need to learn how to manage them wisely. So there are 3 lessons that I can think of sa story na to, sa ating first story. Number 1 is yung importance of risk management. Kasi nga, palagi ito sinasabi na pag gumagawa ka ng financial plan mo para sa sarili mo, you'd always have to think about how you're gonna lose money. Be it sa business man yan or be it sa health mo and all. Kasi ang parang ano nga to, when I was doing insurance, lagi namin sinasabi na you have to protect the golden goose that lays the golden eggs. So, sino yung golden goose? Pwedeng ikaw or yung spouse mo or kayo pareho. And unfortunately, for most Filipinos, konti pa rin ang mga insured. Ano? And malaking bagay na you always have insurance pagdating sa mga gantong bagay. Actually, kahit sa anong aspeto talaga eh. Basta if you are someone who is planning to be financially wise in the end, you really need to have insurance. Life insurance, critical illness insurance, which is for sure nakatulong sa kanila dahil nga cancer ang kanilang family illness kumbaga. So, mahalaking bagay ito. And lagi sinasabi nga rin na financial planners and coaches can compute or calculate kung kailan ka magre-retire, kailan ka makakaahon sa utang, or magkano yung kailangan mo to reach your certain financial goal. Kaya lang ang hindi namin kayang i-calculate is kung kailan ka magkakasakit, anong exact day, or kung ma-aksidente ka ba habang tumatawid sa kalsada, or yung untimely passing mo. Oo. So, that's very important. Again, risk management pagdating sa personal finance. Second na lesson is to be a good steward. Kasi nga, maganda yung naging trabaho nung parents nung cousins niya, di ba? Sa krame and maganda yung benefits. I believe na maganda yung benefits. And even nung namatay yung aunt niya, yung pension na nare-receive ng family niya, hopefully siguro na-maximize pa. Probably it was saved or invested or siguro nga kumuha rin lang insurance for to serve as a lesson dun sa dun sa pagkawala ng kanyang parents. Ano. So, kaya lang, yung lifestyle ng mga anak is nagtuloy-tuloy. And siguro dahil nga hindi na na-build yung good financial habits ever since eh. Kaya, nagtuloy-tuloy yung lifestyle nila kahit they're living on the pension of the deceased mother. So, common talaga to. May mga ganito na rinig na stories na squander yung mga yung pension na nakukuha ng mga loved ones. So, they ended up still broke towards the end. Diba? And ito nga yun, lagi yung sasabi, no, ito na yung going to the third lesson na itong story 1 natin. And ito yung language of money, which it states that if you save me now, I'll save you later. Ganun lang talaga siya ka-basic. If meron kang tinabi, then for sure in the future meron kang makukuha. Hindi ka malulubog sa utang. So those are just some of the lessons that I've realized or that I can think of dito sa ating first story. Okay, so punta na tayo sa second story. Ito yung story naman ng isang member ng isang sa financial literacy group. Finlit PH, to be very specific. It garnered 900 reactions. So, isa to sa mga trending na topics dun sa group, sa Facebook group na to. And is more on depression and anxiety-induced na mga situations. So, ito yung sabi niya, no? I know hindi ito help group for depression and anxiety, pero please do read my story and sana may pulot ang young ones out of it. I'm currently reading a book, Ego is the Enemy, so I will try my best not to make this story a telenovela talaga naman. Okay, sige. So, I was 23 when I first had a taste of six-figure salary. Binigay ko agad in return ang more than half of it sa magulang ko, thinking na matutulungan ko sila. A quarter of it naman sa pag-aaral ng next sa akin, up until makagraduate siya and makapag-abroad. A quarter of it, tinira ko for myself. I was dreaming to buy a rental property sa NCR. I had a chance to do it. A 7-door apartment. Kaso, kulang ang pera na hawak ko. So, bumalik ako sa province hoping na makahiram ako sa magulang ko kasi I was only 200k short that time. So, to my surprise, wala daw silang mapahiram and kung ano-ano pang stories, yet may pang-finance sila sa irrigation sa bukid. It all started there. I had the realization that my dreams are all but mine and no one is there to help me but myself. So I tried finding someone that will loan me out. Wala akong nahanap till eventually di ko na inabot ang property and nabenta na sa iba. Fast forward, I've been lucky to find the girl I will spend the rest of my life with. Kinasal kami, all expenses under myself. Actually, dito ako nalungkot. Again, kasi akala ko merong mag-aabot ng help sa gastos ng kasal. Me, being the only son, napakadami nilang invited yet typical story. I shrug it off saying to myself na I must control my expectations and move on. So, nagpaalam na ako that I won't be giving assistance anymore and igagawa ko na lang sila ng business. Nag-down payment, okay, ng 650k for a farm equipment, harvester in particular. Nakapag self-liquidate naman ito and everything is well. Nakapag-ipon na ako fully for myself. Nakabili ng property of land na ino-operate for production of palay. Konyo, no? Of palay, yeah. May extra income, so on and so forth. I left my guard down na. Then, ito na. Yan, ito na exciting part. Nasa middle ako ng contract ko. And wala akong idea magkano ang farm tractor and how does it operate financially. Tumawag ang tatay ko. Asking na pwede daw ba siyang mag-take ng loan under me for a tractor. Akala ko around 600k lang ulit. So I said yes. Go! Pag-uwi ko, nakasanla na ang title ng property ko for 1.4M. Okay, hindi ko na babasahin yun kasi medyo nag-curse siya. Okay. The saddest part is aabutin ng 12 years for that tractor to recoup the amount. So the dream house is gone again. This is where it starts to all go down. Napagod na ako. So I tried businesses na sa Pinas para makasama ko naman ang mag-ina ko. I tried palay, buy and sell. Naloko ako. Till now, may collectibles pa na 200k. I tried recycling businesses. Kumikita naman at first till diesel price skyrocketed. Wala nang kita, so tinigil ko na din ulit. I tried to buy a house sa ideal location ko but all went south pa din mid-deal. I waited for a year till na-recover ang pera na involved. From a 6-figure earner down to depression and anxiety. Walang pangarap, walang gana sa buhay. I've been trying to pick up myself up and dust the documents para makabalik pa sa work while I can, but my mental state just won't let me do it. Hopefully makapag-restart ulit ako. By the way, 35 na ako now. Madami. Ako inalis sa story na yan. I was a cellphone technician noon. I was a cellphone technician nung college para pangdagdag sa baon, etc. Sa mga panganay, breadwinners, etc., huwag ninyong ibigay lahat ang sarili ninyo. You need to achieve something in return for yourself too, or else you'll get burned badly. So yun yung sabi ni Kuya dito sa kanyang letter kay Kuya Jay. Kay Kuya Jay talaga. So grabe no. I think marami pa rin tayong mga kilalang ganyan siguro sa circle natin kung hindi man ikaw yun. And ito yung 3 lessons naman dito sa story ni Kuya na to. No? First one is magtira para sa sarili. I know, dun, nabanggit niya, nagtitira na naman siya, like a quarter of his earnings na natitira sa kanya. Kaya lang, siguro sa situation niya, hindi enough yung quarter, di ba? Then, ito uli, papasok uli ang importance of financial planning. Magkano ba ang kailangan mo para sa sarili mo, para masustain mo yung lifestyle and dreams na gusto mong ma-achieve? Kasi kung hindi, mahirapan ka rin. Pwedeng sa umpisa, it might work. Pero again, nagbabago ang lifestyle ng bawat tao. So, tulad sa kanya, nagkaanak siya, kinasal, nagkaanak, and marami pa rin siyang gustong ma-achieve. And unfortunately, ang dami rin mga naging struggles ng kanyang family. And pangalawa is to manage expectations na, yun nga, if you are supporting parents or relatives, make sure na you set a limit. Kasi otherwise, baka mag-overextend ka, which is very common sa mga breadwinners, sa mga panganay, sa mga overseas Filipinos. Kaya talagang you need to manage your expectations. And yung third lesson ko dito sa kanyang story is you don't go into a business na hindi mo talaga naiintindihan. So pwedeng umpisa, akala mo, gano'n lang siya, like what he said, no? Akala niya 600K lang din. And in every dealing talaga, you always have to run your numbers. Pwedeng yung initial na capital na ginawa niya before was yun yung amount, pero palaging word of caution for when it comes to business. In every transaction, hindi dahil magandang relationship mo in the past means you'd let your guard down kasi who knows, di ba? May mga narinig din akong kwento na natakbuhan ng milyones ng isang business partner dahil 10 years na sila transact. And okay naman yung mga naging transactions nila. Kasi you'll never know. Kaya you'd always, baka naman yung 10 years na kinita mo out of that relationship, mawala in just one transaction. Kasi hindi mo rin masasabi na baka yung ganun talaga yung diskarte nila, right? They build relationships for decades and in one final deal, ubusin nila yung kinita mo out of it. So, parang ano rin sa akin to naging lesson din. Although hindi naman ako natakbo ng ganong kalaking pera out of partnership, pero parang cautionary tale lang siya na parang hindi siya mangyari sa akin. Na kung ano man yung naging deal ko with that certain business partner in the past, if we'd ever have another deal, I'll still have to do my own diligence pa rin. Okay, just to make sure na protected pa rin ako. And in any contracts as well. So mga very important na meron kayong contracts. Shout out dun sa kakilala natin na nakipag-meeting sa akin dahil sa isang kanyang business partnership that went south with his friends. So it's a 4 different episodes siguro. So yun, ang hindi ko lang talaga alam is paano nakapag-loan yung tatay niya under his name. Ewan ko, baka may POA yung tatay niya or power of attorney na isang layong bahay, di ba? Grabe. So, isa pa to, siguro bonus lesson dun is huwag mong iaasa sa ibang tao yung finances mo. Lalo yung mga ganyang bagay, di ba? Dahil, pag wala kang control, expect mo na anytime mawawala sa'yo yung pinaghirapan mo. So, as much as possible, habang lumalaki assets mo, yung control mo over those assets should be higher as much as possible. Okay? So ito, let's go to the third story. Ganito rin, parang story din ito ng dating high income earner. So sige, iyan na natin ito. Basahin natin. Dear Kuya J, started from nothing but I was able to earn 6 to 7 digits every quarter way back in 2012 to 2026 by reselling stuff. Medyo ahead ako sa ibang resellers dahil alam kong gamitin ng Facebook ads that time. Dropship lang, online lahat. Even malls sa Misamis areas, sa amin na kumukuha. 2017, nagkalat na sa online ang mga suppliers namin. That killed our business. Di naman ako nawalan ng income, but from traveling for 2 to 4 months at a time, naging zero for a year o higit pa. Terrible pagdating sa priorities. Di nakapagpundar ng anything solid. Walang backup plans, walang upskill, insurance, emergency fund, etc. It's annoying when you start to go through your stuff looking for cash, even coins. So I started working again. Then I guess, nung nagkaanak ako, dun ako nag-push to start pushing again. Pusher ka ba? Joke lang. Hope that makes sense. Yan. So, yun yung kanyang story. Sayang, no? Kung malaki na yung kinikita niya for how many years to? 2012 to 2016. Like 4 years then na kumukubra ka. No? And when ito dapat mo rin tandaan when you're doing business, no? Ang business usually is cyclical. May mga seasons talaga na pwedeng malaki kinikita mo, may times na hindi, and hindi ka dapat nagiging kampante. Very madaling sabihin to, no? Pero if you are doing business na pag nandun ka situation na yun na you are reaping so much money, you will always be tempted na maging kampante, maging relax, and be confident sa iyong skills. Ika nga. And isa din itong warning na pwedeng, na dapat talaga you always find ways to innovate. Okay? Kasi gusto ko rin sabihin dito na yung actually yung competitors, yung suppliers niya na naging competitors, for me, actually, they didn't kill the business. What killed this business is this lack of innovation. Oo. Kasi ang business talaga is a never-ending process of learning, failing, and succeeding. Cycle yan. Kung hindi ka nagpa-fail, hindi ka talaga nagtatry, ibig sabihin. And pwedeng yung nag-work sa'yo 4 years ago, hindi na mag-work this year. Ang daming ganyan. Isingit ko dito yung story ng isang overseas Filipino na nakausap ko, like nung kalakasan daw nung kanyang events business, nagsusupply sila mga balloons, mga parties and all, kumukubra siya ng 30k dirhams. Siguro nasa 300,000-400,000 pesos yung katumbas nun. And then eventually dumaming competitors niya, hanggang sa nung kausap ko na siya, lubog na siya sa utang, parang 3,000 dirhams lang kinikita niya per month. So ang laki, di ba? And hindi mo talaga pwedeng sisihin ng competitor kasi business yan eh. Lahat ng business, mayroong talagang competition. And competition is good for any business kasi it will help you grow further as a business, as an industry. And as the industry grows, your business will still continue if you know how you can still compete with your competitors. Diba? And how you will actually solve the problem na yung business ninyo is solving. Kasi kung walang problem, then wala kang business. Yun talaga yun. Kung walang problem na sinusolve ang inyong business, then mawawalan ka ng customers and mawawalan ka ng kita. Ganun naman talagang business. Ang business is really about solving problems. Kaya lang for his case nga, hindi siya nawalan siya ng siguro ng time to innovate kasi nga lagi siya nagta-travel. Ewan ko kung anong purpose ng traveling niya. Probably to enjoy his money. Pero hopefully dapat meron pa rin siyang time to do some market research. And talking about market research, singit ko na rin na ang market mo, ICP as they call it, Ideal Customer Profile, or yung pinaka customers or clients, they usually change their buying or spending behaviors. Pwedeng every quarter, semi-quarter, every year. Depende. Kaya nga dapat constantly you are researching yung trend ng market mo. So, mga ano lang to when it comes to business. And another lesson is yung dangers ng lifestyle inflation. So sa case niya, lumaking kita niya, kaya lang lumaki rin yung gastusin niya, right? And I had this episode in the past about lifestyle inflation, and I'd say na okay lang siya if it's something na talagang necessary for your situation. Pero in most cases, 'di ba? Nag-i-inflate ka ng lifestyle kasi nga you probably want to splurge on things na hindi mo na-experience in the past. Okay yun if you can control it. Pero sa case niya, hindi niya na-control it. Hindi niya naayos yung priorities niya. Parang inuna niya yung mga cravings niya. Siguro kinure niya yung inner child niya. Kaya lang there was no time para mag-prepare on other important priorities. Like emergency funds, even insurance, wala siya, right? So, again, be careful of that. Kasi, ito yun lahat tayo have the opportunity to make ourselves wealthy. Okay? Our only job is to not mess it up. Yun lang talaga. And tayo mismo ang kalaban natin pagdating sa mga gantong sitwasyon. May ibang nagpapalpitate pag dumami yung pera sa bank account. Hindi na alam kung anong gagawin. So, dun tayo nagkakaroon ng challenges. Pero if you can calm yourself sa mga gantong situation, keep yourself grounded, and maging on top of your financial decisions din, itong mga gantong scenarios, probably pwede mong maiwasan. Yun yung mga nakita ko online. And I'll be sharing itong, isisingit ko na lang kasi. Umattend ako ng I was asked ng isa nating kaibigan na financial coach, pero ano siya, taga UK, so ibang lahi ito, na para facilitate ng kanyang accountability group, kumbaga. And one of the participants shared there, tawag na lang natin sa pangalan na Roland. Okay, si Roland. Nasa retirement age na siya. So matanda na to. And he worked so hard to make so much money. Kaya lang, nung time na nag-i-invest siya, pinagkatiwala niya sa mga financial advisors. Unfortunately, yung mga advisors na yun, parang ninakaw yung pera niya. And nagulat na lang siya nung parang towards the end, nung pa-retire na siya, hindi niya makita yung pera niya. And ito yung mga common na scenario sa mga, hindi lang, I think ako sa Pinas kung may ganito ba, but sa UAE and sa ibang bansa, yung mga common kasi yung mga nagbebenta ng mga savings programs And ang dami mga potential na mga legal matters, yung mga fine print na pwedeng hindi mo na nababasa or hindi na sa'yo ni-explain ng advisor, na pag nandun ka na sa mga ganitong programs, trapped ka na. And ang dami ng fees, ang dami ng mga disclaimers, ang dami ng mga dapat mong gawin just to keep your money or to stay invested, kumbaga. So sa case niya, yun yung nangyari. Kasi nagtiwala siya na ito yung mga financial experts, quote-unquote. But ang totoo is mga salesman lang ito na nagbebenta ng financial products to make money out of commissions. And sadly, isa si Roland sa mga naging biktima ng mga to. So, ang lesson lang sa story niya is to never really rely, not fully rely on others when it comes to your finances. Maging financial advisor man yan or someone na trusted sa usaping pananalapi. Nabasa ko na you have to trust but you also have to verify para at least your assets are protected. Kaya nga, isa to sa mga natutunan ko early on na siguro dati madali magtiwala sa tao. Pero dahil nga na-scam ako, kung anong mga nabili kong mga investments na hindi pala appropriate sa situation ko, then talagang hindi na ako naging ganun ka trustworthy sa ibang tao. Lalo na sa pag ang usapan is investments and finances. Kasi nga, sa nangyari sa akin, okay? And I don't want that happening to others. Kaya nga may podcast ako to spread that message. And ganun din sa'yo. Pwedeng kamag-anak mo, na trust, na talagang pinagkatiwalaan mo dati pa. Pero again, you always have to do your own research and do your own due diligence. Hindi dahil trustworthy siya, katiwa-tiwalang kaibigan. Di ba? Means katiwa-tiwala din pagdating sa pera. So, it happens to us. So, yun ang mga tragic, kumbaga, tragic ba siya? Rags to riches, or riches to rags stories rather, dahil ng ating Halloween episode or special episode. And siguro ang overall key takeaway ko lang sa lahat ng mga shinare ko today is being wealthy and staying wealthy require two different set of financial skills. Okay? So, ulitin ko, yung nakita mo, di ba? Napakinggan mo na yung mga taong to yumaman, it's one type of skill. Okay? Yung pagyaman is a skill na natututunan. Staying mayaman or staying wealthy is another skill na kailangan mong matutunan. Kasi otherwise, mawawala yan. Promise. Kaya tingnan mo rin yung mga story ng mga nananalo sa loto or sweepstakes or jackpot ng milyones. And I think 80% of them mas broke pa dun sa situation nila before sila manalo ng loto after 5 years nilang manalo. So, kasi nga, kailangan mo pa rin ng skill to keep that money. Okay? So, making money is one skill, keeping it is another. So, it's something that you can exercise. And that's the good thing with that is it's a learnable skill. If you're listening sa podcast, you have the information, number one. Second is for you to make use of the information is to act on it. Diba? Yung mga sinasabi ko dito, it may not work for you, pero you can still try kasi iba-ibang situation natin. And I'm sharing different types of stories that might work for you, for me, and for other people. The important thing there is to make use of the information kasi kung hindi mo siya gagamitin, then wala. Sasayang ka lang ng oras mo. May mga nag-reach out sa akin, nagsasabi na, I've been listening na Kuya Jay, mga 2 years na, kaya lang, hindi pa rin ako nakakaon sa utang. Kasi nga, hindi niya ina-apply. Aminado naman, hindi ko ina-apply yung tinuturo mo. So, again, knowledge without action is dead. So, kailangan mong mag-take action. Okay? So, yun, again, those are 2 skill sets that you have to learn. So, ang Bible verse na I think is relevant to this situation is itong Philippians 4 verses 11 to 12 saying, I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what is it to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. So, itong passage na to actually kay Apostle Paul to. Sinishare niya yung powerful lesson about the importance of contentment regardless of one's circumstances. Siguro itong most of the stories na minention ko, I labeled those as tragic stories. Pero probably hindi pa ito yung katapusan ng buhay nila. Okay? So in every situation, whether you are blessed or you feel na there's so many challenges in life, you'd always have to find that contentment in every situation. See the good in every bad, ika nga. Diba? Or when you are really living the high life, feeling mo, you're getting all the things that you've ever dreamed of. I-enjoy mo siya. Kasi definitely there will be seasons of your life na you will struggle. Okay? Lagi sinasabi yun. And in every struggle, there's this story, there's this lesson na kailangan mo makuha out of it. Kaya you'd really have to learn to be content. Kasi otherwise, hindi mo makikita yung lesson in that situation. But going back dun sa passage na to, no, Apostle Paul speaks from experience, having faced both abundance and hardship throughout his life. Yung core message niya is that true contentment does not depend on external conditions, such as wealth, success, or material possessions, but rather on a mindset and heart, and of course, yung attitude. Yon. So that wraps our episode for today. But before I let you go, I hope you can listen to the episodes ng Pera and Purpose Podcast. Pakinggan ninyo yung episode ko na where I talked about yung dangers of lifestyle inflation. Nandiyan lang yan. Siguro type yung keyword na inflation, lalabas yun dyan. And also, join the community ng ating podcast. It's a learning community. I'll be very honest, hindi ko talaga strength ang palaging makipag-chat and all, pero I'm doing my best na magkaroon ng highly engaged community in this past few months na nga eh. I've been looking for platforms to help me that. And if you are with me in this mission, then I hope you can join me there and help me pass this message across and help others na mag-join dito sa ating learning community. No? So, yun. And if yung link would be there sa description ng podcast na to. And if you'd like to have a coaching session with me, message nyo ako sa aking LinkedIn or Instagram or dun nga sa ating community page. Muli, ito si Kuya Jay, telling you to prosper with a purpose. See you sa next episode. Bye-bye!